Recovering from leg surgery after taking a fall at her home in Switzerland. You're listening to ABC News.
Embarrassed by ugly yellow toe fungus?
Living with toe fungus it's embarrassing. I was afraid to take my socks off. I hid my yellow and crumbly toes from everybody.
Introducing Crystal Flush. Crystal Flush is the only FDA-registered 2-in-1 home treatment that attacks your toe fungus from both the inside and out. Crystal Flush's new and different combination system knocks out toe fungus for good. Guaranteed.
Crystal Flush is different. After just a few weeks, my fungus was gone. 100% disappeared. Crystal Flush was the only thing that ever worked. So if you're skeptical because you tried a bunch of other stuff, Crystal Flush is different. This is a game changer.
Crystal Flush is now available without a prescription, but it is not available in stores. Get your risk-free supply today. Go to crystalflush.com. That's CRYSTAL flush.com. Stop being embarrassed by ugly yellow toenails. Go to crystalflush.com or call 800-204-4484.
The famous chips. The potato chip, the chocolate chip, the computer chip, the poker chip, the paint chip, and the windshield chip. Glass Doctor of Fargo Moorhead wants to remind you that the difference in temperature outside and inside your vehicle can make a little chip grow into a real budget buster. So make your repair replacement appointment today at Glass Doctor of Fargo Moorhead. Call or go online at glassdoctor.com/Fargo. That's glassdoctor.com/Fargo.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your paint.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us. It's Monday, September 25th, 1:06 on this afternoon. A quick check on your currents. As reported at the airport, 71 degrees.
Garbage.
At Endon, 65 degrees. Which one is right? The world may never know. Wind is out of the northeast at 10 miles an hour. Full look on the forecast coming up here in just a moment. Dean, what's going on today, man? How are you doing?
Well, good. We got some much-needed rain over the weekend, and some areas picked up 3 to 5 inches of rain, Bridgette.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
Now, how is that going to affect? Like an inch, 2 inches, we're going to soak that in pretty good. But 4 to 5 inches in some of those areas?
So I had some text messages with a farmer down around Ross Holt, New Effington, South Dakota. And he said it's a little muddy, but we know that that's still going to seep in. They'll probably be back in the field a little later this week, just depending on, how fast did it come down, that type of thing. But there's a lot of folks that are still optimistic. Did we lose a couple of days of harvest weather? We did. It's overcast where I'm at right now. Once the sun comes back out, things are going to dry off. We got a little bit of wind. And I heard a rumor that this weekend's weather's going to be really nice. So that's probably going to help us dry out and
Warmer.
get rolling.
Yeah.
Temperature-wise, it'd be warm.
Yeah, for this time of the year.
Yeah,
temperatures
especially.
approaching 80.
Yeah.
And
Good.
Bad.
normal highs are right around 70 degrees. In fact, we were talking earlier on our morning show that see no signs of any freeze or frost conditions coming in here through the first week of October. Once we get to that second week, that may change, though. But the first week of October looks pretty nice.
Not bad.
Excellent.
So that's good news for harvest there. And we'll be talking with our farmer for our Here We Grow project, Jim Hewland. And we're going to touch base with Jim later this week to find out how harvest is coming along. Have we started yet on our bean field? Answer is no, not yet, but we're about ready to, and it'll be interesting to get out there and kind of knock heads and see what it looks like after the rain. Right.
Yes.
So, but the rest of today we're looking at a lot of clouds around. There will be a few breaks in the clouds. Temperatures.
You know what? This is the largest spread I've seen in between Endon and the airport. And if you're out and about driving, not driving, pulled on the side of the road, of course.
Don't ask for a car thermometer reading. That's not accurate.
What's your car say it is inside?
Jeez, come on now. But it's so temperatures today in the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. So they'll maintain where they're at right now. Can't rule out an isolated pop-up sprinkle or shower. And the winds will be out of the northeast about 5 to 15 overnight tonight. Could see some more of that fog developing. Some of that was thick this morning, west of the valley and south of the valley. And we could see that once again for tomorrow morning, mid-50s for a low. And then as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll gradually see a little more sun each day. A lot of clouds around tomorrow, but there will be some breaks from time to time. Highs in the low 70s both tomorrow and Wednesday. And then we warm things up and turn breezy on Thursday. We'll call it windy, actually. Winds gusting pretty close to 30. A mid-70s Thursday, and then we're in the upper 70s to near 80 through the weekend with a slight chance for showers Friday and Sunday, but nothing that's going to be a total washout like this last weekend. So, although we did have some dry hours in there. I was in a bags tournament for honor flight for the VFW, and we actually squeezed that in Saturday afternoon before the heavy rain hit. So
not bad.
There was some dry hours in between, and I think next weekend will be even better. So that's good news there.
It is. Bridget, should we play our famous game, Where is Bridgette Today?
We can play. I'm taking guesses. I'm somewhere along I-29. Where might that be?
Okay, she was in Oklahoma City over the weekend, and then she was so she probably started driving back. I'm saying you're somewhere in the vicinity of Kansas City.
I'm going to go Nebraska City.
So close, because actually Nebraska City is where I would have turned to get on I-29. I'm already in Sioux Falls. I drove to Omaha last night, stopped. Dean, there's some posters out with your name on them.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
They're still up.
Yeah, they're still up from 3 years ago.
So yes, I am indeed already in Sioux Falls, going to be heading back towards the north. Yeah, it's a good spot to stop.
Did you find my gift?
I looked, and last night was not okay. Because the problem is I was nowhere near Manhattan, Kansas. I know you wanted Buffalo Sweat Cream Ale, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I was nowhere near Manhattan because I came through Topeka, to Wichita, over to Topeka. So I did not get close by. And when I stopped and asked around, I got a lot of,
what?
So I guess that side eye told me no.
You know what I should? Okay, my buddy lives in KC, and they do have it they have it at the Hy-Vee in KC. I should have.
Okay.
Although you were going, well, you were close.
I was not near Kansas City.
No, you weren't. I would have given you gas money to detour.
I don't know how many more letters you could have tossed at me there. I need you to go to the Hy-Vee and KC to pick up the. Yeah, cute.
Well, thanks for looking, though. I do appreciate that.
Well, we got some.
I did give it a look.
Some fun things coming up on the show today. A few of the ag topics we're going to be getting to this afternoon, or at least trying to get to this afternoon. It's a chicken litter ban that stinks. Apparently the chicken litter stinks.
Stop right there.
That's what you grow your mushrooms that you eat on your steak, Dean. It's in the turkey litter.
Oh, interesting.
That's right.
You don't wash before you eat it.
Yeah,
a little extra protein.
Build up those antibodies.
Yes. Bridget?
Okay, let's just start right there with the chicken litter situation. So first of all, if you're unfamiliar with the name chicken litter, it's chicken
Little.
litter. That's what it is. Well, Chicken
KFC.
Little came out of some.
A few more
well, Chicken
letters
Little
for
had
you.
some chicken manure once upon a time. Yeah, we'll keep throwing those out. So this is the city of Jackson, Tennessee, and there are a couple of farmers there, Matt and Bubba, and I'm not making that up. That's their names.
Nice.
Matt and Bubba have been farming for quite a number of years, and for the last 14, they have been taking chicken litter manure and adding it to their row crop, which acts as a natural fertilizer. That's a big deal right now. A lot of people want to have something that's more natural. They want to call it organic, regenerative, whatever you want to say.
No cow farts.
And well, that's right. So now, as the city of Jackson, Tennessee has gotten closer and closer to their farm ground, Matt and Bubba's farm has literally been annexed by the city. All the subdivisions that are popping up, they don't like the smell. They like the idea of the farm-to-table food and that it's being raised sustainably, but they don't like the smell of the chicken litter. So there is now a ban in place by the city council that chicken litter could not be used on what is totaling 30% of these guys' farmland within the city limits. So the city annexed them, and now the homeowners around are complaining about the stink. And as this farmer mentions, he said the reality of farming is bugs, dust, manure, and smell. Those things go together. The city wants to fine the farmers $50 a day, but it's not clear, is that $50 a day that they stockpile the manure, $50 a day that they spread the manure, or $50 a day that there is an air quality complaint about the smell of it. So
And you just
that's
can't make
just one
people
thing.
happy.
I understand.
Yeah, I want an
Now, there's
organic, natural way, and then you complain because it stinks and you can't use anything else. And what do you want, people?
And everywhere we live, there's a lot of not in my backyard, right? We don't want anything to smell. We don't want it to be unsightly, etc. But the reality is, as cities encroach on farmland that was already established, some give and take will probably need to happen. So that's what's going on in Tennessee, why they want to ban chicken litter in that particular community. Little thought there.
It's a real thought.
Well, if it's next to where they're brewing moonshine, I'm sure they probably don't care. If it's up in the hills,
They wouldn't be able to smell it at that point.
or they wouldn't care. One or the
No,
other.
this is next door to the city limits. So I'm going to guess when you stop at, the local shopping mall, you might not appreciate the smell of fresh chicken litter, which I will tell you, I think a chicken coop and a pig barn right up there. I can handle a lot of beef and dairy, but chickens and pigs, some high ammonia content.
I bet. A couple other topics that we're going to get to. Mississippi river levels are falling again. Kind of go figure that. Also, the Farm Bureau Ag Innovations Challenge finalists in Minnesota. So we got a couple ag topics that we're going to do. And, of course, if you ever want to join in our conversations, ask any questions, join us on the Red Wing Shoes phone line. That's 701-293-9000. You can always reach us during or after our shows via email. That's weather or ag at flagfamily.com. You can also utilize those live comment boxes on Facebook and YouTube Live. You can also find us streamed each and every single day over there on Acres TV. And Bridgette, do you want to introduce who our guest is going to be after we come back from the American Ag Network?
I would like to do that. We're going to visit with Brian Fuder. Brian is with the Red River Retention Authority. Now, how does that work when in conjunction with all the other flood control measures and things that are going on? How can Brian's agency impact farmers? Well, those are questions we're going to want to ask him. And then I got a little clue from some family members that he also is doing like square container gardening. So he's not just a guy who keeps an eye on the water control systems. He's after our own hearts, Justin, when it comes to gardening and wanting to raise probably that giant tomato you and I are after. So I think we'll have lots of things to talk about.
We'll have to get all the tips.
I think that'll be excellent. But first and foremost, let's talk about flood controls and what this all means to our farming community, et cetera. So we'll do that with Brian. When we return, don't go anywhere. You're going to want to hear the rest of our discussion today.
Livestock is mixed, but mostly lower. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Risvet with this market update. The live cattle complex is electing to keep its cautious but semi-supportive stance as the market is trading on either side of unchanged into this afternoon. Last Friday's cattle on feed report should be viewed as a supportive finding that the cattle market can add to its already strong fundamental foothold with fewer cattle on feed than a year ago and fewer placements added in August. Tight supplies amid strong demand should bode well for the market moving forward. Last week's trade started to develop on Wednesday afternoon and trickled in here and there throughout Friday. Northern dressed cattle traded for $285 to $293, but mostly at $292. That was steady with the previous week's average. Southern live cattle traded for $182 to $186, mostly at $183, which is also steady with the previous week's average. Last week's negotiated cash cattle trade totaled 87,245 head. Of that, 77% were committed to the nearby delivery, while the remaining 23% were committed to the deferred delivery. Box beef prices are mixed. Choice down 193 and select up 119 with a movement of 36 loads. The feeder cattle complex is also trading mostly lower into this afternoon as the market longs to attract the interest of traders. Now, one would have thought that Friday's cattle on feed report would have been enough encouraging news to entice some traders into turning the contracts higher. However, without the support of a higher trade live cattle market, traders are remaining reserved at this point. We'll get a look at the livestock numbers. This is the American Ag Network.
In today's troubled world, our USA Armed Forces stand ready to protect you, your family, and our American way of life. When veterans return to civilian life, they deserve your recognition and support. You can help put vets to work by donating your car, truck, or van to Patriotic Hearts. Your donation will directly support programs to help vets find jobs or even start their own business. Donate today for fast, free pickup of your vehicle, running or not. Operators are standing by to answer questions about making a tax-deductible vehicle donation. Find out how you can make a difference in the life of a United States veteran. Call 800-209-6416 for 24-hour response. Call 800-209-6416. 800-209-6416. That's 800-209-6416.
Let's get a look at the livestock numbers. Live cattle October down 30 at 186.77. December down 27 at 191.07. February up 2 dimes at 195.75. And the April live cattle, they're down 2 pennies at 198.97. Feeder September down 45 at 253.65. October down 72 at 258.42. Lean hogs October down a nickel at 81.47. December up 27 at 72.45. And the February lean hogs, they're up 80 at 76.15. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Ristvet.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure? Stay calm. Wait. Everybody calm down.
Justin Storm, you are winning on how many of those sounders you can get in at one time.
I'm going to try 5 tomorrow. Let's see if I can compose a masterpiece over here.
I'm gonna have to try to get some sort of blue ribbon for you for doing that. And
I just accept
wait till we just had to cut. So I think we could spill the beans yet. It's not out on our Facebook page yet.
No, not yet.
So Justin and I were just we just had to cut a promo that's gonna air coming up here probably within a few days.
Good promo.
So we are giving away a snowblower this
Not
winter.
just any snowblower, Dean.
No, it's a beautiful 28-inch wide snowblower that we're going to be giving away. We'll have it up on our website. You can
shortly.
You can register on our website, and we're going to kind of do it like we did not last year but the year before, where you have to guess the first 3-inch snowfall, what date that's going to be in 2024. So again, it's not up on our website yet, but we will have a hot links button on our website once we get that up there, probably within the next few days, hopefully.
I think we're going to try it. We're shooting for the 1st of October.
1st of October? Okay, so the contest will start the 1st of October, so be looking for that. It's, hey, who doesn't want a free snowblower?
Thing moves 70 tons of snow an hour.
That'll
That's a lot of snow.
That'll keep you away from the chiropractor.
I don't want 70 tons of snow an hour. I'm just saying that's a terrible statistic.
Well, that's how much you could throw with it. Like if you were to take that thing and drive it straight into Mount Fargo, 70 tons per hour.
I'll keep that in mind.
You can move
and
that whole mountain 30 feet to the right in no time.
You know what happens to all that snow, you guys?
It melts.
It melts.
It melts and floods.
And then it could possibly flood. So I think that means this is a great time for us to talk to our guest. And we are so glad to have joining us today, Brian Fuder. He is with the Red River Retention Authority. Notice I have to say that nice and slowly because if I stumble, it's going to sound terrible. So, Brian, we are so glad that you are joining us today. Tell us a little bit about your agency.
So much for giving me the opportunity to come in and visit with you folks. The Red River Retention Authority, and that is a mouthful of ours, no doubt about that. The Red River Retention Authority, I just started as the executive director for the authority in July of this past summer, and so I'm on a learning path myself, and so it's kind of a great time to get out and try to do some promotion for the authority. And as I do that, I'm allowed to do a little learning myself. But the Red River Retention Authority, really, when we take a look at that, we have a mission and a vision that we work with as far as what we're looking at. Our vision is really to reduce Red River mainstream and tributary peak flooding by 20% through floodwater retention, and that's a little bit different than what we talk about when we talk about diversions and those types of things. Retention is where we're just trying to temporarily hold things back to kind of stagger the timing as water comes into the basins and drains into that Red River itself. And so that's one of the things that we work with most pointedly. to bring those ideas together.
And is this for any kind of flooding? Is this for like a 50-year flood or?
Yes, we do take into consideration every type of flood. Like you said, 50-year, 100-year flood. Anything that we, sometimes we even are looking at something as quick as what we would call a 2-year flood. And so those types of events. And then we're also looking, the number one thing that seems to stick in our minds is our spring runoff, But we're not only looking at spring runoff, but what about during the summer when we get a heavy rainfall event? If all of that water comes out of the Red River Basin, which covers a huge territory in the Red River Valley between Minnesota and North Dakota, that water all converges down together and meets at the Red River. It's got to come. It comes in at a fast rate, and it goes north at a fast rate. What we're trying to do is we're trying to slow that down, stagger that timing a little bit so that we don't have to deal with it all at once. And if we can stagger that, then it gives us a little bit of opportunity to do something, get a little bit of head start on it before we have to go out and do something reactionary.
Okay, Brian, there's going to be a lot more questions here for you. And some of the things that folks might have on their minds, they can ask you by calling us at 701-293-9000. That's the Red Wing Shoe phone line. Feel free to dial us up. We'd be happy to take your call. Brian, when you're talking about reduction in flooding, how are you going to hold that water back? What are the measures that you're using? And can you kind of compare those versus what's going on with the diversion?
Okay, what we really concentrate on is impoundments, and that's temporary reservoirs, if you want to call it that. We'll actually go out and design a reservoir or an impoundment area that's going to hold a certain amount of acre feet of water for a certain amount of time. We're not generally looking at doing anything as far as permanent water, like Bald Hill Dam in Valley City or those types of things. But what can we do to probably hold back a certain volume of water for 1 week, 2 weeks? What can we do so that that impoundment place that we identify and the area that covers, can we put that back into a farmable land? And so, the less time that water is standing on that ground, the more options there are for farmers to get back in there and get back in and actually farm that land and not have that being taken out of production.
And then taking that land, not having that out of production is a very, very big deal because our growers want to make sure that they're using their land as best utilized as possible. Are you talking to farmers at this time of the year, Brian, or is your phone ringing the most in the spring months when we start to worry about snow runoff?
Well, it's interesting, being new in the position, right now, it's hard to say when is going to be the busy time, but right now, we haven't necessarily had a flooding issue for a while. And so flooding kind of goes to the back of our minds, and sometimes we got to have wet feet to be reminded of it. And but we are working right now to communicate more with the landowners, with the farmers themselves, the producers of that land, through what we call our Red River Retention Authority's Flood Impact Survey. And this is a survey that we are putting out and have been working with here to try to get a good feel for what the farmers and what the growers are looking for as far as what their attitudes is towards reducing flood effects in the Red River Basin, both in Minnesota and North Dakota. And as we look at that information and gather some of that data, then we can kind of put together a game plan of, what types of projects should we be looking at? What types of things should we be chasing as far as funding opportunities and those types of things? And so the Flood Impact Survey is something that we have. And if you go to our website, which is www.redriverretentionauthority.net, right there on our home landing page there's a QR code that'll take you directly into that survey. And we would sure appreciate any producers, landowners within the Red River Basin, both Minnesota and North Dakota, to fill that out and get that sent in to us so that we can use that information.
And Brian, is this tied in with a diversion project at all?
No, it is not.
Not at all.
Not
okay.
At all.
Okay.
I was wondering
and Brian,
when it comes to slowing down the way some of this water moves, and I'm thinking maybe not necessarily the initial snow melt off in the spring, but you get an excessive rainfall in the summer. It'd probably be more localized, just due to thunderstorm complexes. But is there any thought or possibility of using some of that water for irrigation?
You know, groundwater recharge is something that we are always thinking about. You know, that's something that happens very slowly in the valley because of the soil structure we have on very high clay content structures. So that aquifer or groundwater recharge doesn't necessarily happen real fast, but it is something that we want to take into consideration. And what can we do to hold that in the soils? As far as irrigation, you know, there's very little irrigation that's done, and you know, to have an opportunity to do more irrigation would require, some sort of a permanent impoundment. And so, like I said, we're not necessarily looking for those permanent impoundments. We're looking for those temporary impoundments.
Okay.
Well, you guys, it is bottom of the hour. There is some news to cover and things to catch up on, but when we come back, we are going to continue our discussion with Brian with the Red River Retention Authority. I kind of have a list of questions for you, Brian, some things we want to ask about on behalf of our farm community. So let's do that. Everyone stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Road provides housing and transition services for those exiting the criminal justice system or treatment. Join them November 3rd for their 6th annual Fall Gala. This year, they're welcoming guest speaker Eddie McLaughlin, who currently works for Prison Fellowship. Eddie was just 20 when he found himself on death row. There will be a dinner, raffles, and other great surprises. Get your tickets by finding Redemption Road Ministries on social media or on their website, redemptionroadministries.org, under the Events tab.
Let the Goose River Bank become your community bank. They believe a strong bank builds strong communities and would be proud to be your bank.
Good afternoon, I'm Tom Tucker, WDAY News First. West Fargo Public Schools Superintendent Beth Sleddy is asking residents in the city to vote yes tomorrow for the $133 million school bond referendum.
As far as the why, it really comes down to the growth in the district, the past growth of 400 to 600 learners per year, and the continued growth into the future of 300 to 600 learners per year. With that number of students, we need to have places for those students.
Sleddy says during the last bond referendum in 2018, the district only asked for funding sufficient to accommodate growth for a 5-year period. West Acres Mall in Fargo had to shut down the food court Sunday because of a water issue. A mall representative says discolored water, along with a drop in pressure, forced them to close the entire food court and the restaurant Crave. The city's health, water, and fire departments were called in to assist. Mall staff say the businesses should reopen today. The woman appointed to serve as the first director of Minnesota's Office of Cannabis Management has resigned. Erin Dupree was named to the post Thursday, but abruptly announced her resignation Friday. Dupree says she left the position so she wouldn't become a distraction following accusations that a business she runs sold products that exceeded state limits on THC potency. Tom Tucker, WDAY, and WDAYRadioNow.com.
Here in the Red River Valley, many things have changed over the past century, yet we continue to work hard, and hard work requires the right boots. At Red Wing Shoes, we create every boot by hand. We are a company rich in history, heritage, and pride, and we're committed to making shoes that fit the job. Boots that are strong and good-looking, that provide comfort and stability. So no matter the size of your feet or the demand of your job, Red Wing Shoes has the boots for you. Stop in and see for yourself at 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Red Wing Shoes for ultimate durability.
Boost your crop's health with Domar 230 ME and Badge SC fungicide exclusively from Gowan, USA. Domark's systematic action teams up with Badge's outstanding mixing properties for unbeaten disease control on sugar beets, dried edible beans, and canola. Experience the power of 2 different modes of action with Domark and Badge. Don't wait. Contact your local ag retailer and ask about Domark 230 ME and Badge SC. Always read and follow label directions from Gowan, USA.
It's a beautiful sunny day and you're enjoying the comfort of your home. But have you ever thought about the safety and the need for fresh air? At Precision Concrete Cutters, we specialize in egress windows, ensuring safety while providing a breath of fresh air.
Imagine having a window that not only allows for easy escape in emergencies, but also floods your basement with natural light and fresh air. With Precision Concrete Cutters, you get the expertise and craftsmanship you can trust. Our skilled team will transform your basement into a safe and inviting space. Don't settle for dark and stuffy. Visit pccnd.com.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
Hey, welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. It's 1:34 on this Monday afternoon. A quick check on your current scat temperatures in the mid to upper 60s around the area, a few low 70s out there. We got a full look on the forecast coming up here in just a little bit, but we're rejoining our conversation with Brian Fuder. He's with the Red River Retention Authority, and if you'd like to join in on this conversation, ask any questions, please feel free to do so. Reach out on the Red Wing Shoes phone line. That's 701-293-9000, or emails weatherorag@flagfamily.com. And Brian, we had kind of touched on this a little bit. You'd kind of mentioned about a survey that was coming out and a few other things, but what programs do you have for farmers that are available?
We've got a number of different programs that are available, and one of them is what we call the RCPP program, and that is a conservation program that helps to offset the expenses, not only for the landowners and the farmers, but also offset some of the expenses for the watershed districts and those entities that are trying to put those flood reduction practices into play.
Mm-hmm.
And with like I said, kind of new in the position, I don't always have all the acronyms right and all of the all the titles of the programs and things that are right. But yes, there are programs that are out there that do benefit both the watershed districts or the water resource districts and the production and landowners.
Cool. And then I was also wondering, does the agency do any form of compensation for water that they hold for other people or for farmers?
Water that's held for other people, that I'm not sure of. That's, there are assessment processes that the watershed districts and the water resource boards can apply to that. And that's kind of almost like a user's fee that they do charge for different things that happen within those within those small tributaries.
Okay.
And Brian, we're doing a little farming project with one of our local farmers. Here we grow, and one of our sponsors, Ellingson Drainage, has to do with tiling. So, how does that affect what you're doing?
Well, tiling is there to try to reduce the groundwater levels in there to dry it out so that you can have a good production in your crops. There's more plant below ground than there is above ground, and those roots and things have to breathe. If they stand in water, they're going to die. So tiling is there to help reduce that water level. And of course, anything that we pull out of the ground and pump into a receiving facility, such as a drainage ditch or a stream or things like that, there's always something that takes into effect. And so there's ways that we can gauge that water as it's coming through. We can take a look at that, and there's hydrological studies that are done on that. We can do some flow studies and things like that. So agencies are taking a look at those things very closely. Okay. And Ellingson's is one of the organizations that we do work with, and we do consult with.
Great.
Cool.
Bridgette,
you got your mic muted.
Oh, there we go. Was trying to make sure we didn't get traffic and noise in the background. So, Brian, considering that you are the Red River Retention Authority, do you incorporate what happens in Manitoba as well as the red flows north? Kind of what's your scope of your projects that you're working on?
Well, the way the Red River Retention Authority is set up, the Red River Retention Authority was put together as a joint powers agreement between the Red River Water Management Boards in Minnesota, of which there are 7 of, and then 14 watershed districts in North Dakota. And so together, we're covering quite a bit of territory. And of course, that international boundary, we have to take that into consideration too. And so we do have some cooperation that we have with the Manitoban government, the Canadian government there, because whatever we do down here, it eventually goes up north. And so some of the things that they're concerned about, besides water volume and frequency and how fast that gets up there, we're also looking at some of the nutrient contents of the water that we're sending up there. So phosphorus is one of those nutrients that causes a lot of algae blooms. And there's when we get north of Winnipeg in some of those areas, there's some lakes up there that have some substantial algae blooms. And so what can we do to help prevent that? What can we do to help maintain those levels? And what happens when you get a lot of algae blooms like that? It's a process called eutrophication, or the aging of a body of water. And once it ages to a certain point, it's not reversible. So, and that's what takes a clear gravel bottom lake and turns it into a swamp. The phosphorus levels in most cases can really increase that rate that occurs. And so, what can we do to try to help combat some of that?
Right.
Boy, those are some of the things I guess we hadn't even thought about, is what might be happening to some of those lakes further upstream. Because really, when I think about the flood authority, I think about or retention authority, I think about what's going to happen right where we are today with our farmers. And your scope is a lot bigger than that, Brian. Much appreciated.
Well, we have to be good neighbors. Definitely,
Sure.
we have to be good neighbors, because it's going to affect anything that we do is going to affect somebody downstream. Anything that we do is going to affect somebody upstream, and so we have to take a look at that.
Remember that old adage: whiskey's for drinking, water is for fighting.
That's right,
and that's the truth.
A lot of truth to that. Yes.
There really is. So, Brian, also, you mentioned the survey earlier and wanting farmers in the region to take that survey. Is there a deadline to it? Can you give us an example of some of the questions you might be asking the folks who are participating in that survey?
Well, the survey is an ongoing effort that we have there, and we're going to continue to do this at least through the first of the year. It's a real simple survey. It's 9 questions. It doesn't take but just a couple of seconds to fill it out. You can do it right on your phone. But, does flooding affect your ability to commence planting? And does it have the ability to affect your harvest capabilities? What years have you been most affected? What type of dollar value can you say that flooding has caused you as far as economic losses? What are your concerns about flooding as far as the future generations that we're looking for? And what can be done, another question that we're asking, what can be done more by local water management authorities to limit flood impacts, things such as impoundments, ring dikes, culvert sizing, drainage practices, those types of things. And then how much should the states of respectively Minnesota and North Dakota, how much should they be willing to put up front to help offset some of these costs to damages that are caused by flooding? And then, what are you as a landowner or a producer, are you willing to pay for? Are you willing to accept some additional property tax, some additional assessments, some user fees, things like that? Because, no matter what we do, nothing's completely free, and we do have to take care of some things ourselves once in a while. And then we're also looking at what type of flooding is most detrimental to you. Are you more concerned about springtime flooding or summertime flooding? Is there somebody up and down the valley that's concerned about fall flooding? And then any additional comments that you might have, hey, what would be good ideas for us to pursue? Those are the types of questions we're asking on our survey.
And when you ask about those types of flooding, Brian, I would imagine overland flooding, which actually is a very different impact that folks may want to touch on as well.
Oh, yeah. Anything that when it comes to flooding, if we can keep it within the channel, we're fine. We can kind of predict what's going to happen. We can get a good idea of how it's going to behave. Once we get outside of our channels and it starts going over land, all bets are off.
Right.
Oof. Do you see? Oh, go ahead, Justin.
I was going to ask, have you been getting input so far on those questions that you've been asking?
Yes, we did our official rollout of the survey here officially during Big Iron, and so we did get a number of responses back to our survey. Not the number of responses that we were hoping to get. I think some people are maybe a little bit shy. We throw a QR code out there and, hey, hit that with your phone, and they think, no way, I'm not going to do that because somebody's going to bother me and pester me the rest of my life, and next thing you know, I'm going to be getting, phone calls, and we're not going to do that. That's not the purpose of this survey, is to gather database for people to pester. We're truly concerned at looking at what can we do to help mitigate and minimize the damages of flood impacts in the valley.
I see.
So is there an area of the valley that you think is more impacted, whether it be north or south, Brian, that you see more action needing to be taken?
Well, there's a lot of action that's been done, and it depends on what part of the valley you're in. We can get up by the Manitoba border up in that Oslo area, and we know that when the water gets deep up there, it doesn't necessarily get deep, but it gets darn wide. And, Oslo itself, that city becomes an island. There's no way to get in and out of there because that water just spreads out for so far. I just was back. We had the Boydie Sioux Watershed District down in Wheaton just had a groundbreaking ceremony on the Red Path Impoundment and Mustinka River Rehabilitation Project down there, which is like a $53 million project that's there to re-meander the Mustinka River. At one time, the powers to be went in and thought it would be a good idea to straighten all these channels, get water out of here quicker. Now they're finding out, that wasn't such a good idea. So let's start putting the meanders back in there, see if we can slow this water down a little bit, improve some retention capabilities. And so to go back to your question, Bridgette, it really depends on what part of the valley that we're in. What part of the watershed are we in? We can have floods in, I grew up in Breckenridge. That's where I come from. I remember I was emergency manager in Wilkin County, city of Breckenridge. I wasn't there during 97. I was in town, but I remember that. And then there was other areas that didn't get impacted hardly at all. And then, of course, what happened to Grand Forks that year? Unbelievable. But it like I said, it really depends on where you're at in the valley and what's the situation that leads up to these things.
Right. Well, Brian, I was wondering if someone wants to get more information on this, where could they go to get that information and also be able to take that survey if they'd like to be a participant in it?
Yeah, our website is redriverretentionauthority.net. And the QR code for the survey is right there. Contact information for myself. You can contact us also by email at rrra@ideo1.net. You can contact me, Brian Fuder, at redriverretentionauthority.org. My office number is 701-356-6644. Don't have all the answers, but I'd sure like to hear from people and listen to find out what it is that we can do to help you.
Right. And for those listening, if you didn't have that chance to be able to write those numbers down or remember any of them, you can head over to our website, WDAYradionow.com. We'll have a couple of links to the website that you can go to get all that information as well right there in the show archives. So you can just head over to our website to get that link to the website as well. But we're going to take a moment here. We got to get caught up with a few of our sponsors. When we come back, we got ag topics, another check on the forecast, and, of course, any questions you have. Brian, thank you very much for coming in today and telling us about that. So everyone else, stay tuned. Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
You can always count on Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Always crisp, always easy drinking, always just right. The perfect balance of flavor and refreshment since 1903. Welcome to the High Life. 2019 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Celebrate responsibly.
Helping you manage your farm's risk and protect your equity is our top priority. Hi, this is Bethany Rentz, crop insurance agent with IRE Insurance. Margin protection provides coverage against an unexpected decrease in operating margin. In other words, we can put a policy in place to protect your farm from changing input costs and crop prices. Let us at IRE Insurance help you explore this policy between now and September 30th. Find our contact information on our website at ireins.com. IRE Insurance is an equal opportunity provider.
You're protected and appreciated at IRE.
Your wellness is within reach with Hot Spring Spas and Pool Tables too. Enjoy every day made better with a Hot Spring Spa, in stock and ready to deliver today. For less than $99 per month, you can be physically better below the water, mentally better above the water, and relationally better beyond the water. Stop thinking about it and just do it. You'll be glad you did. Already have a hot tub? Trade up to a new saltwater hot tub and receive an extra $1,500. Wellness, every day made better. Hot Spring Spas and Pool Tables too. West Fargo, Grand Forks, Bismarck.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Now at Staples, the prices of HP printers are dropping. Save on HP Smart Tank and enjoy even more savings on ink. Save on the HP Inkjet, perfect for high-quality pics. Save on HP laser printers, great for tackling high-volume document printing. Now through September 30th, save on Staples' entire selection of HP printers, some as low as $69.99. With HP printer price drops at Staples, now is the time to upgrade to HP, America's most trusted printer brand. See staples.com/HP for details.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, along with meteorologist Justin Storm and our wonderful, talented Ag Director Bridgette Readel. It's 1:51, temperatures hugging that 70-degree mark under mostly cloudy skies, but we're starting to see more breaks in the clouds, and we'll see pretty much steady temperatures for the rest of the afternoon, right around 70 most areas, with those northeast winds about 5 to 15. And we'll continue to see improving conditions throughout the week with more sunshine each day and warmer temperatures each day as well. So a pretty decent forecast and pretty dry, too. That's the good news because, like we said earlier, if you didn't catch it earlier, is that we received about 1 to 1.5 inches of rain. Some spots picked up anywhere between about 3 and 5 inches in the far southern valley over in the Lakes country. So that's a little bit too much of a good thing, but we need the moisture. And that was, and this is a pretty widespread. Now, the far northern valley, far northwest Minnesota didn't pick up that much at all. But generally along and south of 94, it was widespread rain all the way from Bismarck, all the way through the Red River Valley into Lakes Country. So that's good news. That's good news right there.
I think it sounds like things are going to be progressing very nicely throughout the week, and harvest will be back on track before too long.
Absolutely. And Bridgette, so I was reading an article, and I know you guys touched on this a little bit earlier. The Mississippi levels are falling. And 15 gauges now up and down the Mississippi, mainly from southern Illinois through about northern Mississippi, are the worst areas in terms of river levels falling. But I was also reading that most of the state of Louisiana is in extreme drought. And they're saying the salt water now, since the Mississippi is so low, the salt water in the Gulf is actually starting to back up into the Mississippi, and that's causing problems as well.
Really? Wow.
Can you imagine what that'll do to an ecosystem if you've been freshwater and all of a sudden the saltwater starts coming in? That will change things over tremendously.
Yeah. But what is this going to do? Because we ran into this problem last year. Remember with the barge traffic, and now it's not quite to that level, is it?
Yeah, actually we are. These are
Is it?
historic lows. So we're
Okay.
actually in some areas lower than it was a year ago.
Oh.
If you look at Memphis, that's probably one of the worst. That was in 2022, and it's back to that stage or worse right now. St. Louis is 3 feet lower than it was a year ago. So what's it doing to barge traffic? About 25% of the barge loading rates are being restricted. So that means you can't load a barge as full as you want because it can't sit as low in the water. Shipping lanes are also reduced. So when it's narrower, you're seeing a 20 to 25% reduction in the number of barges that can move up and down a shipping lane. What that also means is shipping rates have soared. And so we talked last week about Brazil being poised to take over the U.S.'s position as the #1 exporter for corn. This is one of those factors. As our shipping rates go up just to move corn out of the traditional Midwest to those shipping lanes down in like Louisiana, New Orleans, etc., that's going to make our corn more expensive, which is going to make it easier for Brazil to take over that spot for large exportation around the globe.
Yeah, I mean, fall is not typically your wet time of the year, so to get any rain into the Mississippi shed there, it's going to be tough. And then,
I don't think that's going to be enough.
No.
And then
winter is, that's you're going to have to wait till spring for snow melt.
So those barges are supposed to turn around with fertilizer on them and bring them back up the rivers so that you have the ability to offload and then truck or use rail to move it to further points around the area. So you'd have fertilizer in position, not just for fall, but also heavily used in the spring. So we may have fertilizer that's out of place, which means we'd have to rely on rail or trucking, which also will add to our shipping costs, which raises what we're doing for inputs, and that all affects us at the grocery store. Sorry about that.
Man, like we need anything else, right? Wait,
I know. It's always something.
I thought all this global warming,
Global waba?
I thought all this was supposed to add more moisture to the air, which in turn leads to more cloud cover, which in turn leads to more rain. Wasn't that was supposed to
snow
happen?
And ice.
Yeah.
But wait. Doesn't that mean we only know what's happened in the last 150 years, so we don't know if this is supposed to happen or not? I might be a skeptic on this thing.
No, I think you're right.
I
think you are right.
Secrets.
I mean, y'all are the meteorologists. You guys can tell me what the weather's supposed to be.
Well,
I
mean, I'd go into conspiracy theories on why the river levels are so low, but I can see Bridgette and hear her rolling her eyes. So I won't even bother going down that. That's for tomorrow.
You do know what tomorrow is.
Tomorrow. Yes. It's chemtrail spray day Tuesday. Right?
It is spray day.
Tomorrow's spray day. So we'll tackle that issue tomorrow.
It'll be a fun show tomorrow.
It will be
Why
a
don't we
very
just say
fun
that?
show tomorrow. You want to stay tuned.
Bridgette,
for that.
are you open?
Suddenly,
to the
Bridgette's
possibilities.
on mute.
Suddenly,
oh no, you're not on mute this time.
How about one more ag topic while we have a minute here, Bridgette? Farm Bureau Ag Innovation Challenge finalist is going to be in Minnesota. Tell us about that.
Farm Bureau opened up a contest. Winners of this challenge can win up to $10,000 in cash for their innovation. And this was a hog farmer in Ghent, Minnesota. He came up with the idea of building a little chute for piglets. So you know what it looks like when we run cows through a bigger chute. This one's just smaller. It fits the piglets because oftentimes you would just walk into a pen full of piglets, pick one up, give them a vaccination, put them back down. Sometimes you got messed up and went, wait, did I already give that one a shot or not? Because pigs move. Well, this little chute now can hold them firmly for you so you can make sure that they get the right dosage, that you don't accidentally bend a needle, that it's safer for the pig, for the human, everybody. So that's one of our local winners or potential winners out of Minnesota for the Farm Bureau Innovation Challenge. Farmers are great innovators, and so this is a way to reward them.
Well, you got to think out of the box a little bit sometimes, right?
Or out of the pig pen.
Or out
of the pen.
Hey, maybe they can find your lost pig. From. Maybe they can find a way We'll figure something
I will be calling them. I'll be calling Brian Hennon to see if he can help. Okay, got it.
There you
Gonna
go.
wrap it up today. We'll leave you at the last 10 seconds of this sweet funk. Jay Thomas Show's next.